December 19, 1944, 6:42 hours. The Bois Jacques, 2 kilometers north of Bastogne, Belgium. The temperature is minus 12 degrees Celsius. Snow depth averages 40 centimeters. Visibility is less than 80 yards. A U.S. Army rifle platoon is pinned in a shallow tree-line facing southeast. German artillery has already walked past them once and is adjusting back. Telephone wire to battalion command was cut at 6:18. Radio batteries are frozen and failing. The nearest friendly position is over 900 meters to the rear, across open ground now observed by enemy infantry. Retreat is impossible. The ground between the trees and the road is flat and white. No cover. Machine gun fire has already bracketed it. Surrender is irrational. German units advancing through this sector are not taking prisoners at the line. Several bodies lie forward of the American position, hands raised, shot where they fell. Death is the expected outcome. The platoon has expended more than half its ammunition before daylight. Resupply will not come. At 6:44, a German infantry company advances from the fog at 60 to 70 men strong, moving in short bounds. They are supported by at least 2 MG-42s firing from the left flank. Mortar rounds impact behind the American line, cutting off withdrawal. One Sherman tank was expected before dawn. It has not arrived. The Americans number 11 effectives. 2 are wounded. 1 is in shock and non-responsive. No names are spoken. Orders are passed by touch and brief phrases. Breath steams. Fingers are numb. Rifle bolts are stiff with ice. At 6:46, the platoon's leftmost foxhole is hit directly. There is no movement afterward. The German line continues forward. Distance closes to 120 yards. The Americans cannot fall back. They cannot break contact. They cannot hold indefinitely. At 6:47, the decision that will define the next 60 seconds is made without discussion. 16 years earlier. Akron, Ohio. The man who will later be one of 11 effectives in a frozen Belgian tree-line is one of thousands of interchangeable civilians. He is 22 years old. His name is Staff Sergeant Robert L. Haynes. At the time, he is not a soldier. He works 6 days a week at a rubber fabrication plant on East Market Street. Goodyear contract work. Vulcanizing presses. 10-hour shifts. The noise never stops. He lives in a rented 2-room apartment above a tailor shop. Oil heat. Shared bathroom. Rent is $12 a month. His wife, Margaret, works part-time as a cashier at a grocer on South Arlington Road. They have no children. No savings. No plans beyond the next pay envelope. His world is local and repetitive. Shift whistle at 6 o'clock. Lunch at 12 o'clock. Dinner at 18:30. Sunday church if weather permits. There is no expectation of war. Newspapers carry stories from Europe, but they are distant and inconsistent. Spain. Poland. Names without weight. The radio is used for baseball scores and weather forecasts. Nothing in his daily routine suggests inevitability or purpose. In September 1940, he registers for the draft as required by law. The clerk at the courthouse records his height as 5 feet 9 inches. Weight, 158 pounds. Eyes, brown. No distinguishing marks. Classification, IA. He does not volunteer. He does not object. He returns to work the following Monday. Induction notice arrives in April 1941. Fort Knox, Kentucky. Basic training is functional, not transformative. Drill. Weapons handling. Field sanitation. He qualifies as a marksman with the M1 rifle on his second attempt. There is nothing exceptional in the record. He learns to sleep when told, eat quickly, and follow instructions without debate. By December 1941, he is assigned to an infantry regiment forming under strength. The men around him change weekly. Some are transferred. Some fail physical standards. Names are forgotten quickly. Cohesion is administrative, not personal. When Pearl Harbor is announced, training pauses for 1 hour. Then resumes. He writes letters home that contain no analysis. Only facts. Weather. Food. Pay. He does not speculate. He does not frame events as historic. He assumes replacement is likely and survival uncertain, but does not articulate either. By mid-1943, his unit is shipped to England. The crossing is uneventful. Seasickness is common. Equipment is reissued twice. The men are told to mark their helmets and web gear. Names are still secondary. He is promoted to sergeant after a field exercise when the original squad leader is reassigned. The promotion comes with no ceremony. Responsibility increases. Authority is provisional. In July 1943, during a night movement exercise in Devon, a live round is accidentally discharged. One private is killed instantly. The investigation is brief. No charges are filed. The body is removed before dawn. Training resumes the same day. It is the first time Haynes observes how quickly a man can be removed without consequence. That understanding remains. June 1944. Southern England. Staff Sergeant Robert L. Haynes is now assigned to Company E, 2nd Battalion, 506th Parachute Infantry Regiment, 101st Airborne Division. The designation is administrative before it is meaningful. Replacement drafts have altered the roster twice since April. Few of the men trained together for more than 8 weeks. He is not airborne by inclination. He was reassigned after a manpower reshuffle. Jump school is abbreviated. 5 qualifying jumps. 1 at night. 2 with full combat load. Landing injuries are common. Ankles swell. Knees stiffen. No one is dropped from the rolls unless they cannot walk. On June 5, 1944, final briefing is given at 18:30. Maps are distributed and then collected. Objectives are discussed in general terms only. Haynes memorizes grid references he does not expect to recognize on the ground. The aircraft departs at 22:56. The jump over Normandy is disordered. Anti-aircraft fire fragments the formation. Green jump lights appear late. Wind speed is higher than forecast. Men are scattered across hedgerows, flooded fields, and orchards. Haynes lands at approximately 1:18, June 6, 1944, more than a mile from his intended drop zone. He assembles 4 men by voice and chance. None are from his original squad. At 2:40, they encounter German infantry near a sunken lane. A brief firefight follows. Range under 40 yards. 1 German is killed. Another wounded. No prisoners are taken. The Americans move on without confirmation of effect. Later that morning, near a farmhouse south of Sainte-Marie-du-Mont, Haynes observes a group of German soldiers surrendering to another American element. Hands raised. Weapons dropped. As they are moved toward the rear, German artillery impacts the area. When the smoke clears, the prisoners are dead. American casualties are minimal. There is no investigation. The bodies are left where they fall. On June 9, during an attempt to clear a hedgerow line under machine gun fire, Haynes orders a flanking movement that fails. 1 private hesitates, then moves late. He is hit twice in the chest at 15 yards. Dead before impact with the ground. That night, Haynes inventories the squad's ammunition. He notes exact numbers. He notes how quickly they are reduced. He notes that hesitation is observable and lethal. By the end of the Normandy campaign, Company E has suffered over 60% casualties. Replacements arrive without context. Names are written in pencil on rosters. Leadership positions change by attrition. In September 1944, during Operation Market Garden, Haynes is wounded by shrapnel in the left forearm. Not evacuated. He continues to function with reduced grip strength. He stops mentioning pain after 3 days. At Eindhoven, he witnesses German troops firing on a column of wounded Americans during a temporary ceasefire after an airstrike confusion. The incident is logged as unclear circumstances. No action follows. By November, the regiment is pulled back to Mormillon-le-Grand, France. Rest. Refit. Cold weather gear is incomplete. Ammunition allocations are reduced during training to conserve stockpiles. Men speak less. They clean weapons excessively. Sleep is irregular. When orders arrive in December for movement to the Ardennes, the briefing emphasizes quiet sector duty. Limited enemy activity. Defensive posture. Haynes notes the weather forecast: heavy snow. Low visibility. Sub-zero nights. He says nothing. The lesson carried forward is not tactical. It is procedural. When isolation occurs, delay increases casualties. When orders are unclear, initiative replaces doctrine. When contact is made at close range, decisions must be final. These conclusions are not written down. They are retained. They will resurface. December 19, 1944. 6:47 hours. Bois-Jacques. The German infantry is now inside 100 yards. The fog has thinned slightly. Dark shapes resolve into helmeted figures moving low, rifles at the shoulder. Snow compresses under boots. The sound carries. Staff Sergeant Haynes is in the center of the line. His foxhole is shallow, scraped into frozen earth and reinforced with logs taken from the tree lean behind. His left hand is stiff. The old shrapnel wound limits grip. He compensates by bracing the rifle against the parapet. A runner crawls in from the right. He does not speak. He points. The right flank is bending. Ammunition there is low. One bar has jammed. The assistant gunner is dead. At 6:48, German machine gun fire increases. 2 MG-42s fire in overlapping arcs from the left, approximately 150 yards out. Rate estimated at 1,200 rounds per minute each. Tracers are visible. The American line is bracketed. Haynes checks his ammunition without looking. 8 clips remaining. 48 rounds. 2 fragmentation grenades. 1 smoke. The platoon leader is down. Chest wound. Not moving. No orders are coming. At 6:49, a German mortar round impacts behind the tree lean. Airburst. Shrapnel cuts branches overhead. Snow falls into the foxholes. One man screams and then stops. Haynes observes the ground in front of him. The snow is churned by footprints and shell fragments. Distances are short. Under 80 yards now. He thinks of Normandy hedgerows. Of men freezing in place under fire. Of the moment delay became fatal. At 6:50, the German infantry begins to fan out. Standard assault spacing. 10 to 15 meters between men. They are attempting to roll the line from left to right. There is no signal for this situation. No rehearsed maneuver. Withdrawal would require crossing open ground already covered by machine guns. Remaining in place will result in encirclement within minutes. Haynes does not shout. He does not look for consensus. At 6:51, he pulls the pin on the smoke grenade and throws it 5 yards forward. White smoke begins to billow, obscuring the center of the German advance. It is not concealment. It is a marker. He fires 2 rounds into the smoke, then rises partially from the foxhole. The men to his immediate left and right see the movement. They hesitate. Then follow. Haynes moves forward at a crouch, directly into the smoke, firing controlled shots. He is not charging. He is closing distance to collapse the assault frontage. At 6:52, contact is made at under 30 yards. German soldiers appear suddenly out of the smoke. Surprise is mutual but asymmetrical. The Germans are advancing. The Americans are not expected to move forward. Haynes fires until the bolt locks back. He drops the empty clip into the snow. Inserts another. Fires again. He does not aim carefully. Center mass. Immediate threats only. A German soldier attempts to bring a machine pistol to bear. He is shot twice. Falls backward. Another turns and runs. He is hit in the leg and goes down. The movement disrupts the German left. Their fire slackens for seconds. Seconds only. At 6:53, Haynes throws his second grenade toward the base of the machine gun fire. Distance estimated at 25 yards. The explosion is partially muffled by snow. One MG-42 stops firing. The Americans behind him increase their rate of fire. Ammunition expenditure accelerates. There is no command. Only imitation. At 6:54, German officers begin shouting orders. The language is audible now. The fog carries sound clearly. The German advance halts momentarily, then resumes with increased aggression. Haynes feels a blow to his right shoulder. Not penetrating. The cold delays pain. He continues forward another 3 steps, then drops into a shell hole. He is aware that the movement cannot be sustained. He is also aware that it does not need to be. At 6:55, German forces begin to pull back slightly to re-establish fire discipline. The assault has lost cohesion. The pause is brief but real. Haynes shouts for the men to fall back. He uses names only when he knows them. Others he signals by gesture. One does not move. Another is dragging a wounded man. Time compresses. By 6:56, the Americans are back in the treeline. The smoke has dissipated. The ground in front of them is littered with bodies and dropped equipment. German fire resumes but is less coordinated. The decision has been executed. It cannot be undone. The line holds for now. December 19, 1944. 7:10 hours. The engagement has lasted 28 minutes. German infantry withdraws to a distance of approximately 200 yards. Machine gun fire becomes intermittent. Mortar rounds continue at reduced frequency. Artillery shifts farther north, likely responding to reports of contact elsewhere along the perimeter. The American position remains intact. Company E began the morning with 11 effectives in the immediate sector. At 7:10, there are 7. 2 are dead. 1 is missing, last seen forward of the line during the counter-movement. 1 is wounded and non-ambulatory. 3 remain capable of sustained fire. Ammunition expenditure is recorded after the firing slows. M1 rifle ammunition. Initial estimate, 1,100 rounds. Remaining, 214 rounds. Bar ammunition. Initial estimate, 720 rounds. Remaining, 96 rounds. Grenades. Issued, 18 fragmentation. Remaining, 4, no resupply is available. No medical evacuation occurs. German casualties are not counted formally. Observation suggests between 12 and 18 killed or incapacitated within 60 yards of the American line. 1 MG-42 position is confirmed neutralized. The second relocates. Terrain gained, none. Terrain lost, none. The tactical outcome is classified as position held. At 8:30, contact resumes in a limited probe. It is repelled with rifle fire only. No further forward movement is attempted by either side that day. At 1400 hours, snow begins again. Visibility drops below 50 yards. The temperature falls to -15 degrees Celsius by nightfall. The bodies forward of the line remain where they fell. Recovery is impossible under observation. The snow covers them gradually, altering the ground reference points used during the morning fight. Staff Sergeant Haynes reports his action to the acting platoon leader at 16:20. The report is brief. It includes times, distances, and ammunition counts. It does not include intent or emotion. The entry in the battalion log reads: Enemy infantry assault repulsed. Local counteraction disrupted advance. No names are mentioned. The German attack on Bastogne continues elsewhere. The perimeter contracts. Units rotate when possible. In this sector, rotation does not occur for another 36 hours. The line holds, not because it is strong, but because it has not yet been identified as weak. January 1945. Staff Sergeant Haynes is evacuated from the Ardennes on January 3 due to frostbite in both feet and an infected shoulder wound. He is transported by truck to a field hospital near Reims. Treatment is routine. No citation is recommended. No witness statements are collected. By February, he is reassigned to a replacement pool. He does not return to Company E. The regiment continues east without him. Several of the men from the Bois-Jacques position are later killed near Haguenau. He does not learn this until years afterward. In May 1945, Haynes is in a staging area near Le Havre when the German surrender is announced. There is no celebration in his unit area. Men are tired. Equipment is turned in. Paperwork takes precedence. He ships home in June. Discharge date, July 22, 1945. Rank, Staff Sergeant. Decorations, Combat Infantryman Badge. European African Middle Eastern Campaign Medal with 3 bronze stars. No mention is made of December 19, 1944. He returns to Akron. The rubber plant has resumed civilian production. His old job is available at reduced seniority. He takes it. The hours are shorter now. The noise is the same. Margaret recognizes the physical changes immediately. The limp. The stiffness in cold weather. The way he wakes before dawn. He does not describe combat. When asked directly, he answers with logistics. Distances. Dates. Weather. In 1947, he uses the G.I. Bill to attend night classes in industrial safety. He becomes a floor supervisor by 1952. The work is administrative. He prefers it. He does not join veterans organizations. He attends one reunion in the early 1960s and leaves before the dinner. Names do not align with faces. Conversations circle events he does not wish to reconstruct. Medical records note chronic shoulder pain and reduced mobility in the left hand. Treatment is conservative. He declines surgery. He raises 2 children. He teaches them practical tasks. How to repair equipment. How to measure accurately. How to account for shortages. He does not tell stories. In winter, he shovels snow methodically. He stops frequently. He looks at the ground ahead before moving forward. No public record links him to Bastogne beyond unit assignment dates. No historian interviews him. No photograph identifies him in the field. When he dies in 1989 at age 73, the obituary lists employment history, surviving family, and military service in one line. Served in the U.S. Army during World War II. Nothing more is required. The action at Bois-Jacques did not alter the course of the Battle of the Bulge. It did not appear on situation maps above regimental level. It did not produce a breakthrough or prevent one. It delayed a German infantry advance by minutes, not hours. Those minutes were sufficient for adjacent units to adjust fields of fire. They were sufficient to prevent immediate penetration of that sector of the perimeter on that morning. They were not decisive in isolation. The decision made at 6:51 on December 19, 1944 was not doctrinal. It was not ordered. It was not recorded in detail. It reflected an assessment formed through prior contact, that immobility under close pressure produced predictable losses, and that disruption, even temporary, altered enemy behavior. The action succeeded because it forced the opposing force to reassess at close range, under uncertainty, in poor visibility, with incomplete information. When that reassessment occurred, momentum was lost. This pattern repeated across the Ardennes in December 1944. Small units. Isolated decisions. Brief disruptions. None sufficient alone. Collectively cumulative. War at this scale did not depend on single acts, but on the aggregation of thousands of judgments made under constraint, fatigue, and fear, by individuals who did not expect to be remembered. Most were not.